There is Katharine, and over there is Lucas. And over the last 6 weeks, we have been looking very closely at pollution. Our unit is sharing the planet.
Our central idea is we need to deal with the waste we create to protect the environment. Our lines of inquiry are inquiry into different forms of pollution, inquiry into reasons for pollution, inquiry into people's responsibilities concerning pollution.
Why we chose this topic. I chose this topic because it is a big problem all over the world, and if we don't do anything, it will turn very bad.
I chose this topic because it is life-threatening worldwide. And for example, some people in China now have to wear masks just to stay healthy.
I chose this topic because a lot of animals are dying, and we too will die eventually if we don't do it.
I chose the topic water pollution because it involves a lot of problems, and I want those problems to be solved. Now Anna Sophie will tell you what pollution is if you don't know. Pollution is a harmful or poisonous substance that harms our environment. There are 3 types of pollution that we are going to talk about today. 1 is water pollution, 2 air pollution, and 3 land pollution. Next, Lucas is going to talk about air pollution.
What is air pollution? Air pollution is soot, NOx, and smoke. In case you're wondering what soot and NOx are, soot comes out of barbecues and factories, goes up into the air, and doesn't come down until it rains. NOx is when you burn coal, the atoms fly up and form NOx, and then also don't come down until it rains. What pollutes our air? Cars usually pollute our air because they let out smog when they drive. Factories also pollute our air because they let out soot and other harmful gases. Fireworks also let out pollution, but they don't let out as much because if you look closely after firework rocket explodes, you can see some smoke. That's smog. Soot and NOx also harm our air. When the rain falls, it also harms our water. And cow methane also harms our environment. Cow farts.
Landfills and garbage dumps. A landfill is a huge hole dug in the earth as big as a valley, and they fill it with garbage and cover it again so that it looks like a normal field, but actually when you're standing on it, you're standing on garbage. A garbage dump is a mountain that is made out of garbage and covered with dirt, and it looks like a normal mountain, but it's actually garbage. What is land pollution? Land pollution is a big pile of garbage spread on a field or on the side of a street. That is called land pollution. Leaking landfills and garbage dumps are also land pollution. What is land pollution? Land pollution. What pollutes our land? We pollute our land when we litter, when we dump stuff on the floor, when we waste, like not recycling and not composting. Different forms of waste, so like aluminum, plastic, glass, and paper, landfills and garbage. And here you see that an animal is eating all the garbage because we threw it on the floor and there's nowhere else to go. Land pollution today and earlier and today. Today, we just throw trash on the street, and we don't really care about how a forest will look soon if we don't stop just throwing stuff on the ground. And we noticed that we have to start going green, otherwise going green or go all the way back to the past where they didn't have plastic and aluminum. When they didn't have plastic or aluminum, it was more, there wasn't that much trash on the floor because it would also turned into soil earlier. Our responsibilities for land pollution. Our responsibilities are to not litter and to reduce the amount of stuff we buy. With that, we mean we also mean to try and not buy stuff that have like 5 packages of plastic around it. Now another few will tell you about water pollution.
What is water pollution? Water pollution is a harmful substance that harms our water. There are the three most types of water pollution that is in our water is sewage. Here's a picture of sewage going into our water. They used to have 6 gallons of water in our toilets. Now we use low flush toilets and then only 1 gallon. 20% is farm runoff. That's when you spray chemicals on your plants to make them grow faster and to have them ripe. And the other 20% is air pollutants. And right here you can see that normally that 5% is also when you litter. And I bet you guys hear when an oil spill happens and you think it's like the most important thing. Well, actually, oil spill is only 10%. And the other 10% is marching to transportation. What pollutes our water? The biggest reason for water pollution is sewage. We have more than 7 billion people on our planet. With those 7 billion people growing food, using fertilizer, making trash, working, we create a lot of waste. And most of it normally goes into our oceans. Do you want to see this every day? The reason for water pollution is normally human progress, but it's also sewage. What you could do is you could only take a shower when you have to, flush less, use less water, and eat organic. Our responsibility for water pollution. We should tell people to not throw garbage into our sea, be more careful with our sewage, and use less water.
The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, it's where all our garbage goes. Some say it's 2 times as big as Texas, but we don't exactly know. It could be big as the United States. 80% of the trash that's there comes from the land where it gets washed there, and 20% comes from barges where they dump it into the ocean.
Barges are usually flat, and they carry trash, and when they're in a designated spot, they dump their trash. This is what a barge looks like when it dumps trash.
Water recycling. It's basically just a process where you take water and you basically recycle it to make it cleaner.
Composting. Composting is when you make food scraps into soil. Here I made my own little compost. It's been a week since I've made it. It's turned into soil. In about a week, this will be all in soil. Some big pieces, like this pepper, it might take a little longer to decompose.
The bigger ones that farmers usually have take sometimes longer than
Recycling. Recycling is when you convert waste into a different material.
The four most popular things to recycle is plastic, aluminum, glass, and paper. Plastic is the worst because it takes
400 years.
to only
450.
years to decompose. Aluminum takes 400 years to decompose, and glass takes
20 years.
to decompose. Paper only takes 6 weeks to decompose. Reduce. Reuse.
Recycle!
The interviews we made, one from Michael Lynn,
From Kleiner Partners Couples Buyers. In short, KPCB, we got our questions answered, learned about water, land, and air pollution, and we also had a lot of fun.
Our second interview was Paul Rogers. He works for Mercury News. He writes for the environment at Mercury News, and we got some information about air pollution.
thank you for
And we would like to give a special thanks to Mr. Diesenander.
And here, if you want to read some, there are some quotes about it.
We have some flyers right here. You can take some if you want. It says here are a few ways to reduce pollution. Reduce your carbon footprint. Use less water. Buy projects that use less chemicals.
And so should I put those by the door so people can get on their way out? Do we really have to do that? Alright, so ask for any questions?
Any questions? Comments?
What was the most surprising thing you learned?
Who are you talking to?
All of you.
Probably that it's a big problem.
Well, I knew that, but I think it was sort of funny and interesting that cow farts actually relate.
Well, I didn't realize that ships were being sent out to sea and then just tipping over.
I didn't know that barges used to get sent out from San Francisco once a week.
Checking that it's not actually called
Thank you.